a female filmmaker whose new movie is moving people to conquer fear, overcome grief, and find hope in the hopeless. And she's doing it all without uttering a word. Shanna Forrestall has acted in more than 100 movies and television shows.
Down here in the South, we have a saying, marriage is like taking a hot bath. Once you get used to it, it's not so hot after all.
She worked with some of the best in the industry, like Morgan Freeman. But this Gonzales, Louisiana native fell into acting accidentally. After graduation, she took a marketing job in Canada. She moved back a few years later at a time when Louisiana's film industry was catching fire. Soon, she caught the acting bug. However, it wasn't because of the notoriety and glamour associated with the movie world. It was because of the world inside her it opened up.
I fell into the film industry, and it was in the film industry, it was in acting class that I came to grips with my own pain and started to realize how dysfunctional I was. And because of the pain that I'd been through, and I started to really seriously work on it, and then I started to see the levels of human experience.
In working through her own pain, she discovered true joy.
I've really suffered just about any kind of abuse you can imagine, from physical to mental to religious to, you name it, I've pretty much had it. One of my acting coaches literally saved my life. Jerry Katz, he saved my life because of the work we did in acting class. I started to realize that I wasn't being honest with myself. And when I started to be honest with myself, I realized I wasn't really loving myself. And I realized the reason that my life was the way that it was is because I wasn't protecting myself the way that I needed to. And I made major changes in my life and basically rescued myself because I all of a sudden learned that I didn't put the value on me that I had given to everybody else. I'd loved people all over the world. I'd worked with orphans in poor countries, AIDS orphans, and you name it, I'd done it. But I hadn't truly loved me. And if we don't truly love ourselves, then the love we put out is short.
She's now evolved in other ways too. She's gone from starring in movies to making them. She's one of the few female film producers. To date, she has 6 under her belt.
The first 3 were, oh Lord. but it was a process, and now I feel like I've developed a voice that I know how to say what it is I'm trying to say. And it makes me really happy, and especially to be a female filmmaker. You know, it's like there's a huge discrepancy in the ratio between men and women in the industry, and my crews for the last 3 films have been probably 60 to 80% women, depending on the project. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of giving women voices.
Most recently, she gives voice to grief and depression through her latest short film, Breathe. She premiered it Monday at Celtic Movie Studios with her Louisiana friends and colleagues who took her idea from page to a motion picture.
Things like this don't get made. They're passion projects, and they don't get made without support. And I was just really grateful to have friends, long-term friends, who just said, yeah, we're going to help you make this film. And we had an amazing time. We had a lot of challenges, but we had an amazing time making this film.
One of those challenges is this film has no words, no dialogue, no verbal script. This story is told through motion, emotion, and music. This was a first for executive producer Neil Wells.
The challenge is you have to tell the story through the music and through the editing and then through the acting. The actors really have to say what's going on because you don't have any dialogue to rely on.
For Shanna, getting the musical score perfect was key.
We had a beautiful composer from LA that I've worked with before. His name is Carlos Garza, score the film. And the music is the voice of the film.
Another challenge is time. Breathe is only 8 minutes long.
You have a lot to tell in a very short amount of time. So, but it's fun. I mean, it's challenging that way, and has its own set of challenges as opposed to a big budget, hour-and-a-half film. But short films are, to me, there seems to be much more passion.
Passion is what drove Shanna to do this movie. She's passionate about helping others find their way out of the dark places in their lives, a place she was in 2 years ago.
It was a desperate thing for me, at that time, and I wanted people in that place to not feel the way that I did and to reach out and to make sure that they were okay. I'm not okay with suicide. I'm not okay with people quitting and being so discouraged that they can't make it. And this film is about the fact that we don't have to quit. No matter how low, no matter how dark, we don't have to quit. All you have to do is breathe, and sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. And I remember being in that space and just thinking, this should be normal to breathe. This should be natural, and it's not. I'm having to remind myself, Shanna, just breathe.
She breathes life into the complex, deeply personal world of grief. Like all good works of art, her film doesn't tell you what to think. It allows you to think. It doesn't give answers. You discover your own.
It was meant to be a piece that stirred our emotions, touched all of us, because we've all had dark spaces, and then to give people a platform to just talk about it. I don't offer solutions in my films. I never have. I've never come with a film that says this is the answer to whatever I'm dealing with. But I've always tried to use them to just start conversation, because I feel like if we can do that, if we can get people talking about the uncomfortable things and the painful things, then somehow in that human interaction, we'll find some answers, and they'll be personal, and they'll be right for what we need.
The film in its own right is art therapy. Jennifer Awad knows the healing art in all forms can induce. She's an artist in real life and in the film.
Painting and using art sometimes is a great bridge to kind of bring the communication forward. So using film and incorporating the art is a great marriage, I guess.
Shanna says pain is universal. How we deal with ours and others changes everything.
That's what this film is about, is just encouraging people, whether you're in the dark space or you see someone else who is, to just help them breathe, just to keep going, just one more day, one more hour, one more minute. Sometimes it's about just getting through that minute, and then it'll get better, or something will get better.
Breathe will soon be shown around the country. It'll never be a moneymaker. But Shanna knew that going in.
And especially short films, they never make money. They're not meant to make money, they're meant to cost money. This film is not about money, it's about passion, it's about love, and it's about just hearing each other when we need to be heard. Life is always gonna have darkness. Somebody's always gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna die. Someone's gonna, the flood's gonna happen.
Shanna's also helping flood victims breathe a little easier with her relief efforts. She lives in California now, but Gonzales will always be home. She's helping her hometown with a Let's Rock initiative to give sheetrock to those rebuilding. She's launched a Coats for Cajun donation drive.
That stylish coat that's been sitting in your closet could be just the thing to keep a Cajun warm this winter. Coats for Cajuns. Because every Cajun needs a coat, obviously.
And she's biting back against mosquitoes, giving away more than $50,000 in repellent to those flooded. She's pulled in companies and individuals across the country to help.
And doing whatever we can. That's what we all need to do, whatever we can. We don't need to ask each other. I don't need you to do anything more than you can, but I need you to do what you can. Because there are people in this community that are hurting. And so that's all we ask. I'm happy to have found a place for a voice. And that's what I love about filmmaking, is that, I love hearing the voices of those that are forgotten and then amplifying that voice, even if it's my own. You know what I mean? Like, I heard my own voice in that dark spot, and I was like, how many other people have this voice or saying the things that I'm saying or feeling right now? and nobody's hearing them.
To be heard, Shanna emphasizes, we first must breathe. For more about the films and their upcoming festivals and showings, go to their Facebook page. It's simply Breathe.